you know, eating food can be an addiction, undoubtedly. It's still your fault, right? Doesn't mean you should shun them from society forever. You know, you can help them get better. We should do the same thing for fat people, you know? I'm probably being too mean to fat people. I'm probably too mean. I think you should be able to get them help instead of, you know, endlessly antagonizing them. But when they're saying like this, that's obviously false. Like, they should be treated like every other addict, an irrational, delusional person who needs help. All right, chat. I've been meaning to watch this video from this guy. I'm very fascinated with TikTok and its subcultures. And there's a subculture on TikTok known as fat talk. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of fat talk, but it's this movement of fat idiots on TikTok. And this guy, this like anime commentary channel, made a video called "Fat Talk Thinks the Word Obese is a Slur." Now, I'm a fat shamer. I'm a fat hater. Okay, I'm anti-fat in general. So I've been curious to see this video for a little bit now. Now, from what I understand, this is kind of an anime thing, and the anime we'll have to deal with, okay? We'll have to deal with the cringe a little bit, but let's forgive him. Let's try to see what he talks about here, okay? Okay! All right. Friendly Fire is not Friendly Fire. I only like Death Note. That's normie anime. I'm not an anime person, okay?
All right, so our next patient. Oh, hey, Susan. What appears to be the problem? Hey there, doctor, mate. You alright? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you, Susan? Doctor, I'm gonna be honest, mate. Not too great. I feel a lot of chest pain, right? And my knees hurt when I walk. Okay, well, Susan, the problem with... But that's not all, doctor. I run out of breath really easily, and I just feel tired all the time. Yeah, Susan, I think I might know what the problem you're having is.
Really? What could it be, doctor? In your genius expertise and your amazing diagnosis, what could it possibly be?
And every doctor I've gone to about this problem has just been really fat phobic. Always making comments about my weight and my diet, and it's just really insulting. Susan, I think they might be... No, yeah, I might be a bit plus size, but it's got nothing to do with my health. I don't know why they keep bringing it up.
Has anybody actually said this to a doctor? I want to see this happen in real life. Has anybody actually been to a doctor and been like confused as to why they're having health problems? And the doctor just has to be like, "You're fat. You're a whale. You're a beached whale. Either put yourself back in the ocean or get help." Can you scream rape? No.
Doctor even called me the slur obese. Excuse my language. Wait, the slur obese? What do you mean slur? God, they're all so bigoted and closed-minded. Doctor, I just want a solution to my problem.
What is the medical definition for obese? WHO defines obesity as an abnormal or excessive accumulation of fat that poses a health risk for adults with a body mass index of 30 or higher. What is my BMI? Calculate your BMI. All right, my height, 5 foot, 10.5 inches. My weight, 185 pounds. 26.2 is my BMI. So technically I'm overweight, chat. Technically I am overweight. Can you believe it? Can you believe that I am overweight? Holy shit. You see this? This is the face. This is the look of a medically obese person, okay? I'm giant. I'm huge. I'm medically overweight. But the thing we have to acknowledge is that it was on purpose, as we all know. It was on purpose. Why? In the interest of getting massive. In the interest of getting huge, I had to gain weight. Okay, in the interest of getting huge. In the interest of gains, I had to be medically obese, okay? So that's what they don't realize. That's what they don't realize, okay? Reclaim the O-slur. Reclaim the O-slur. I love reclaiming slurs. That's my #1 position as a white man. When's Tom cutting? I don't really want to cut. I just want to keep getting bigger. Also, I hate cutting because at heart, I'm an obese man. At heart, I'm a morbidly obese man. So if I were to cut, you have to understand, if I were to cut, I would lose my obesity. Also, for the amount of muscle I have, I am relatively lean. Like I don't need to cut weight right now. Really what I want to do is just gain weight. Cutting sucks. You can't even eat, you know? Right now, I don't really care about being I don't care about being like extremely cut. I'm not like shredded by any means. I'm not, you know, I don't have a six pack. I barely have I have like the line. But the problem is if I were to cut, then I would lose my weight and I would look smaller, and I don't want to do that. I want to keep getting bigger. You BBW maxing based.
Can you help me out, please, man? Yo, you're joking, right?
You may have muscle, Tom, but meet me on my hill and 500 pounds of flesh will crush you based.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
That gave me PTSD, Jesus Christ.
Boys and girls, cats and dogs, Starlight and Huey. Welcome back to the channel.
Hi, I'm
or if
Huey.
this just so happens to be your first time here, then...
Dude, you know what I was so disappointed to find out? The first time I saw Anthony Starr, the guy who plays Homelander, out of costume, I was like pissed off. Because he's not even jacked. In real life, this guy's like skinny. Like all these muscles are just... I mean, obviously there's pads in the suit, but he's not jacked at all. It's all fake. Like he's actually a very skinny guy. And I was like, what the f? I thought this guy was like 190 pounds, jacked to the gills, of just super lean. But it turns out he's not at all. He's not. Look at real life Homelander. This canon to the show. We'll whatever the show says. I don't care. He should have been jacked. Hey, look at this guy. This is You're telling me this is Homelander? What the hell? He's supposed to be giant. He's supposed to be massive. I don't want to find out. I don't care if it's canon to the show. The canon of the show should have been that he's giant. That should have been canon, in my opinion, okay? He looks like Jeremy Fragrance. A little bit. Stop saying that's the point. It's all fake heroes. I don't care. I know that's the point. I don't care. I wanted him to be jacked in real life. I don't care. Stop. I know it's canon. I don't care. He should have been jacked.
Can't hear a difference, then I'm gonna.
He's a superhero.
Okay.
Compound V should have made him jacked.
Give you roses and.
Dude, I didn't like finding out that in real life, A-Train could beat the f out of Homelander.
Dandelion. I was supposed to take a 2-week break off YouTube so my speech could recover, but I had to make this video. This is just. Now, before I go on and on and on, let me just preface this by saying I don't have a problem when people complain on the internet. Honestly, I don't.
I do. I have a problem with people complaining on the internet, and I do. All black guys are jacked. Not all of them, but many of them are just kind of naturally shredded. It is kind of crazy, bro.
Doing it right now. If someone wants to sit down and complain about something, then honestly, I think that's perfectly fine.
You tell me that guy's naturally jacked? He's not.
Sometimes it's funny, constructive, and actually entertaining. It only becomes a problem when you're crying and whining about something which you yourself can control. It's one thing if I complain about Cocoa Pops tasting like shit because they took the sugar out. I don't know why they did that. But it's different if I'm the CEO of Cocoa Pops complaining about the same thing. Like, do you not see how stupid that would be? You made it, you twat. And similar to that, if you complain about getting made
What the hell is that?
fun of on the internet,
Do you need to show that to me? What is that?
simultaneously act like a on the internet, you're a I don't feel like I'm breaking new grounds here. This shit should be obvious. In conclusion, don't complain about things which you can solve through your own actions, okay? I thought this would be common sense by now, but clearly the internet has reduced all of our IQs by at least 200. And for some reason, I don't feel like...
Wait, that's base. This is cool. This kid's a genius. Don't put that footage here. Skibbity Toilet is genius. The small Lebanese child is a genius. This is slander, okay? He was being based. This video sucks. Disliked. For that alone. Maybe we'll change that by the end if it gets better, but this child dressed up like Skibbity Toilet is cool, and I'm gonna start doing this.
Get any better anytime soon. But easily one of the dumbest communities on the internet is the...
That thing is Lebanese. I mean, I don't know. He could be some other, you know, thing from that region, but I'm just guessing Lebanese because he kind of looks like kind of looks like my Lebanese friend.
Body positivity.
Bro, stop!
Fat liberation.
There's no reason to... I don't want to see that, man. Come on. Come on. Put a trigger warning, goddammit.
Body diversity, plus size.
Stop!
Every single other word under the sun.
I don't want to see the Michelin Man when I turn on your funny YouTube commentary video, okay? Get that off screen.
Than what they actually are. Obese. You are obese, okay? You're not body liberated. You're not plus size. A large Coke.
Okay, I get the point. You don't need to keep showing it. I'm literally gonna vomit.
At KFC as plus size. You're just obese, man. You can call it whatever you want. It is not gonna change that fact. We've been over this several times. And like I've said in those previous several times, no one cares that you're obese. If you want to sit down and eat pizza and ice cream all day.
I mean, some people do care. I care. I think it's gross. I'm not gonna like go in their TikTok comments and be like, you're fat, but we can all acknowledge they're fat, right? I think intrinsically there's probably some psychological phenomenon where like you instantly respect fit people more than fat people. I definitely do. In my head, when I see a fat person in real life, I'm like, wait, why are you that fat? That's gross. I definitely have that in my mind, you know? I'm fat phobic. I see someone who's like jacked and I'm like, okay, he's got his life together. He cares about his fitness. When I see a girl who's thin, you know, or I see a girl at the gym, I'm like, okay, she cares about her body. You know, she wants to look good. When I see a fat person, I'm like, you have no self-esteem. You're probably depressed. You need to get your life in order. What's wrong with you? Every time one of those chunks is on screen, I bust all over myself. Skid, you need to get under control, okay? Get under control. Jesus.
Hey, go ahead, okay? We don't care. People only start making fun of you when you complain about being overweight. You can't cry and whine about thin privilege.
To be clear, I would make fun of them anyway.
When you sit down and eat enough food to feed a family of 4.
Bro, I didn't understand the fat people thing because there are like health conditions, like thyroid conditions that can contribute to it. But I didn't understand how much fat people ate until I was around a few of them. And like, I remember this recently. I had this friend in high school who was pretty fat. And I was like, how does this guy just stay so fat? Like, how is he so fat? Because he's like, he lost a lot of the weight since then. He started going to the gym. He looks pretty good now. And I was like, you know, proud of him when I saw it. When I was in high school, I was like, he's so fat. How is he that fat? And then I just started paying attention to what he does at the lunch table. And it seems so obvious when I started paying attention. This guy would get 2 full meals, and instead of 1 dessert, he would get 3 pieces of cake and devour them all at the end of lunch. And I was like, oh, now it makes sense why you're fat. My autistic friend wigs out when he sees fat people. That guy is cool. Like, the way that fat people stay fat is they just eat and eat and eat and eat. They eat, bro. It's like, it's insane.
If it hurts to watch. I've literally seen some accounts on TikTok where they'll go, oh my god, my jeans won't fit, they need to make bigger jeans, and then they'll simultaneously post what I eat in a day, and it's the worst food ever. Like, the solution to your problem
4 waffles is she's round bulking. Me, thanks for the 2.
Hey, it's on your account, you wanker.
I think it's like an addiction for them. Like, I think they have like some kind of mental thing going on, like where they just eat and like they cope themselves into thinking they need it, or that it's normal, or that it's fine. Much like the way that like a drug addict will convince themselves there's no like negative effects of it, you know? Because some drug addicts will be like self-aware of the fact that it's negatively affecting their life, and some of them will just completely cope. You'll be like, you're shooting up fentanyl. You have like scabies all over your skin. Why are you doing that? And they're like, what do you mean? It's healthy. Like my health conditions, like my health being horrible, me being 90 pounds as a man, like that has nothing to do with me doing fentanyl or crack cocaine, right? Like they can't fathom it. But some of them will be like, okay, yeah, I'm up. Like this is the reason why, right? At least they're self-aware at the very least. That's kind of the first step to fixing the problem. And I think it's the same thing for a lot of fat people. They're so addicted to eating food. It's been that way their entire life. Maybe their parents encouraged bad health habits. Maybe they just like ate and nobody told them it was wrong because they want to be mean to them. And then they just get fat and then they just start justifying it in their head rather than acknowledging there's something wrong with them.
I even need to go over why that just doesn't make any sense. I've done it before, so I don't think I need to, but I will say that looking like this will and is going to kill you. And is 100% gonna cause you health issues down the line. Like heart problems, kidney problems, joint problems, bone problems. Do I even need to go on? I mean, that short list is bad enough, but the full one is pretty fucking bad. Now, I'm not saying that people who aren't fat don't have these problems, but I am saying that if you are fat, you are much more likely to have.
I mean, specifically the problems related to obesity. If you're not fat, you're not going to have those problems, right? You're generally not. And there's exceptions to any rule, but there are a unique set of health complications that come along with being morbidly obese that you're not going to experience if you're not. It's as simple as that.
Have these problems. That's not me being fat phobic. That's me using what they taught me back in primary school. Children.
Boogie said his mother fed him pizza and told him that's how everyone eats. Didn't do that to his siblings though. That's like borderline child abuse if that's true. That's horrible. Jesus. I feel very lucky that my mom was like kind of a health freak growing up. It's like I didn't really eat a lot of fast food. I had fast food, but I didn't try a lot of fast food until I was like 18, 19. And then I went through a phase where like I was like, wait, McDonald's is awesome. And then I quickly realized it's pretty disgusting, you know? Like I made a video about it at some point. I was like, I love McDonald's on this channel. Like one of the early videos I made. There's many unhealthy addictions I feel like we ignore. Definitely. Honestly, caffeine's probably one of them. Nicotine is definitely one of them. I mean, we've gotten better at talking about it, but you know, from cigarettes, but like people still love nicotine. I love nicotine. I'm part of the problem, really. Imagine Chris Chan going on a bike. Chris Chan could probably still get on a bike. Chris Chan isn't that fat.
Most people know this. Even you fat people.
If you eat McDonald's for a couple of days straight, you feel like garbage. I feel like garbage if I eat it once. My shits are green. It's up.
That's why they love the delusion of fat just being a body type. To which it's not. It comes with many different issues, but all right. They go as far as to call people fat, which is a pretty rational fear if I'm being honest. No one in
It's because your body's primary desire is eating food. It's pretty hard for it to recognize you should stop eating so much and will naturally want to ensure its survival. That's not true. That's just not true. Eating food to a certain extent. Okay, we got to get this off screen.
Their right mind would want to look like this.
Off screen.
Absolutely.
Okay. So your body's desire is to eat food, but to eat food to that extent, that's not true. The real problem is more with addiction, and this applies to all addictions, where let's say you're drinking alcohol in college for 3 years straight, okay? Every day, and everybody's like, it's normal to everybody, okay? You know, you're functional alcoholics, basically, right? And you don't realize it. Then you get out of college, you're not doing it socially anymore, you're drinking alone. But if you stop drinking, you feel like shit, because your body's like, wait, I've been relying on this thing for so long for like happiness, or, you know, to get my serotonin up or something like that, right? Like I've been relying on this for so long. And then as soon as you drink, you feel better, right? That's what it is. So your body, you've essentially tricked your body into thinking you need alcohol for survival, but you don't actually need it. You need to fight your body's addiction to it. And it's the same thing for these fat people, right? Because they eat and eat and eat and they get really fat, and they trick their brain into thinking that the more they eat, the better they feel, right? When in reality, in their brain, they might be feeling good. Their serotonin levels might be feeling good, but it's not healthy for them, right? It's obviously not healthy.
No one. It's just in recent times, there's been a really weird push into glorifying this stuff. The silly, health at all size, my body is beautiful dog shit that no one actually believes has, for some reason, become a
I mean, some people do believe it. the fat asses believe it, and they're pushing that shit into their audience. It's pretty bad.
Main statement in today's modern media, and it just keeps getting worse.
A girl I knew kept asking me out, and I kept saying no until I just got tired and said, "You're built like a wrecking ball." Jesus Christ. You came in like a wrecking ball.
Here we have the word obese trending on Twitter, or X, or whatever the people call it nowadays. I don't care. Now, to everyone who actually enjoys their life and doesn't use Twitter, you're probably wondering, why was the word obese trending? Well, now the word obese, the medical term obese, is considered a slur. Yes, a slur. The word should now be censored and treated like the N-word. Honestly, I make this up even if I try. Even though I have zero expectations of anyone on the internet, I'm still somehow disappointed.
I can always identify someone who doesn't have a great grasp on history if they see medicalization as a stamp of inherent virtue. This comes up a lot when I talk about how the word obese is a slur. At least one person will always pop their head out of the ground to say, obese is a medical term.
But it quite literally is. It says it right here. It's a medical condition that people can get diagnosed with.
As if that somehow makes it better.
No, that would just not make it a slur. It would make it a medical condition.
You know what else used to be a medical term? Like a lot of bad shit we don't say anymore. Because we realized it was stigmatizing as fuck and it actively harmed people.
I mean, maybe that's the case, but that doesn't apply to being obese. Like, if you're just extremely fat, you're still... What do you want? What you want us to say? Super fat? Omega fat? What do you want us to say? Like, are TikTok comments mean? Yeah. That doesn't mean you shouldn't lose weight. Okay, I won't call you obese, just morbidly. You had to start calling them morbid. You're morbid.
You know what else actively harms people? Obesity.
Based.
You twat. And unlike words...
I hate that I even have to say base to that because it should be so obvious. It should be so obvious. The issue with the internet, the issue with the internet is that people create these echo chambers where they can just hide in their little cells, right? And they can just say whatever the they want, which is, you know, they should be allowed to say it. But the problem is that, like, then misinformation gets pushed. Like people saying that being obese is, like, medically healthy, you know? Or what's this classification they're doing now? There's, like, because they feel like they're being oppressed, there's, like, Facebook groups where they're, like, there's, like, fat, super fat, omega fat, ultra fat, sigma fat, alpha fat. Like, they have, like, little specific designations.
So obesity actually harms people.
Infinifat. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Or on a biological level. And even if you call it something else like round or big-bodied or morbidly obtuse, it's not gonna change the issue because it's not a derogatory term, it's a health problem. People are still gonna suffer from obesity whether you call it obesity or not. My God, I never thought I'd ever have to explain that.
Science and language are both constantly evolving and updating. The medical establishment is not exempt from this. If any,
the medical establishment is not going to come to terms or change the fact that you are obese and it is unhealthy. I'm sorry, that is not going to happen. If that does happen, that is the downfall of the medical system, and any doctor should be disrespected in public. Okay, like that. That's not going to happen. This is never going to change unless you get to be president and make your law, which is hopefully not going to happen. And even if you did that, you'd have so many different people and variables pushing back against you. I don't even know why I'm entertaining this. It goes as simple as you're fat, get over it, lose weight.
It's actually a particularly strong example of how this happens. We don't need to look too far back into history at all to see how medical terminology and practices change.
Yeah, well, that's due to a little known fact.
Yeah, wow, they change. This one's not going to.
It's called technology. The reason why medical practices change is due to technological advances. Back in the day, they didn't have technology to pinpoint each medical issue. But now we do. And with that knowledge, we can tell that being morbidly obese is not good for you.
For example,
I think in the 1400s, they probably knew that too, if I had to guess.
Homosexuality is no longer diagnosed as a mental illness.
That's not the same. Gay people don't choose to be gay, okay? There are environmental factors that can lead to it, obviously. Not everyone is born gay. There can be things that contribute to it, but it's still not their choice. You made a series of choices that led you to be morbidly obese. Next time I gain weight, I'm calling it morbid time. Base.
Female hysteria is not something that's diagnosed anymore.
Ah, yes. Two psychological thought
Now we call it borderline personality disorder.
processes which don't inherently kill you. You know, guys, I think I'm starting to see the relation between that and
I mean, to be clear, being fat doesn't inherently kill you. It will just lead to an earlier death.
having plaque literally cover your organs. Yeah, they're definitely the same thing.
Cocaine and heroin are no longer prescribed as anesthetics or cough suppressants. Lysol cleaning spray is no longer used.
This is not the same thing. This is a false equivalency.
We don't perform ice pick lobotomies anymore. And doctors no longer advocate for the health benefits of smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, and they're never going to advocate for the health benefits of being morbidly fat.
Oops.
You know,
Oops. Wow, you really got them there. Genius.
it's almost like there's a way for doctors.
Let's take a bunch of unrelated shit that's obviously unhealthy that we no longer consider healthy. Let's take that and be like, okay, that is evidence that being fat is actually good. Like, no. There's literally medical scientific studies that show right now that being obese is bad. This has been consistent for hundreds of years.
Doctors to tell if there's something biologically harmful to you. I wonder if they can still do that. Oh well, I guess not. Is her argument here that science is just outdated and that there's nothing unhealthy about being overweight? Because if that's the case, then she'd be wrong. The same way that we know smoking cigarettes is bad is the same way that we know overeating is bad. You'd expect a fully grown adult to know this.
More importantly, when a marginalized group tells you that a word or practice harms them, you can just go ahead and believe them.
No, I actually won't. In fact, I'll keep saying it.
Oh God, I love
In fairness, I say them all, but still.
alcohol. I love me some alcohol. Listen, buddy, I'm glad to have you at the bar and all, but I think you've had too much. I think you might be an alcoholic. Hey, you can't say that word. That word is a slur. I don't appreciate that word.
They're acting like fat people have no right. I mean, yeah, they can do everything normal people do. Maybe they can't squeeze into a plane seat sometimes, and it's like, okay, that sucks, lose weight. Like, being fat is not the same as being black. You cannot change that you're black. You are literally born black, okay? You're not born obese. Should you be treated like shit over it? I don't know. Probably not, but you can still change it.
It's very harmful. Listen, I'm sorry, man. I know the word alcoholic might be harsh, but this is your 13th drink. I think you might have had too many. No, I haven't. You know what? I'm sick and tired of people using that derogatory term against me. I don't think you understand just how harmful that word is to me. So pour me another pint, or else I'm gonna put my boot up your... Dude, you're an alcoholic. It doesn't matter what word I use here. The problem is this guy drinks too much. I don't understand how people can argue against this. My point
is the reason why is because they're coping. They're coping for the fact that they're unhealthy. They don't want to blame their own actions on themselves. And, you know, regardless of if it's an addiction, right? You know, eating food can be an addiction, undoubtedly. It's still your fault, right? You wouldn't say to somebody who's addicted to fentanyl, it's not your fault. It's still their fault. Doesn't mean you should shun them from society and shit on them forever. You know, you can help them get better. We should do the same thing for fat people, you know? I'm probably being too mean to fat people. I'm probably too mean. I think you should be able to get them help instead of, you know, endlessly antagonizing them. But when they're saying shit like this, that's obviously false. Like, they should be treated like every other addict, an irrational, delusional person who needs help.
Point here is you can call it whatever you want. It's not going to change the fact that obesity is an underlying medical condition. And if you view that as offensive, well, then that kind of contradicts your entire fat liberation argument. I thought it was okay to be morbidly obese. Why is it now all of a sudden a word that shouldn't be said?
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy.
Okay. I think we've seen enough of this video. I think we've seen enough. Holy I think we've seen enough. All right, chat. With that being said, I've been on stream for 8 hours, so I'm going to get off. But if you guys want to check out some stuff, check out the Tom Dark live channel for live stuff. Become a member for VODs. Subscribe to all the channels. I wasn't done yet. Almost gooned. My bad. I want to get off. I'm tired. I've been going for 8 hours. That's about when I'm ready to tap out. But hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to this channel, Tom Dark Live, for stream clips if you missed any stuff, or become a member for full VODs. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.